Time signatures are really simple to understand once you know the basics. Today we're going to cover what each number in a time signature means and how different time signatures affect the way that you would count a measure. To start off, let's go over what the bottom number means. The bottom number of a time signature tells us what type of note we are using to count the beat. So for example, in both 4/4 and 3/4 time, we are counting using quarter notes because the bottom number is a 4. But if you were to see a measure of 2/2, the half note would be used to count since the bottom number is a 2. Since the bottom number will always specify a type of note, you will always see it as a power of 2, most commonly a 2, 4, or an 8. But technically any note division is possible if the way the music is being written requires it. And that brings us to the top number. The top number, if you haven't already guessed, is simply how many beats are in a measure, with the beat value coming from the bottom number. So back to 4/4, we have 4 quarter notes, but in 3/4, we only have 3 quarter notes. Knowing this, we can break down pretty much any time signature we come across into how many notes of what type can fit into a measure. For example, say we come across this measure of 7/8. This one is a bit uncommon, but if you play enough music, it's something you can easily stumble upon. Now that we understand how time signatures work, we can break it down and see that each measure of 7/8 is going to have 7 eighth notes. This is similar to 4/4, but with the and of 4 chopped off. But instead of counting it like that, since the eighth notes get the beat, we would count it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. I like to shorten 7 into sev to keep it one syllable, but regardless of how you like to count it, we are going to give the eighth note the beat. To go even farther, say we have a measure of 9/8, another strange time signature that might show up every once in a while. This would be counted the same way we did before since the eighth notes get the beat, but we would count all the way to 9. This time signature is interesting though, because it looks like it could be the same as 3/4 where quarter notes are played as triplets. While this might sound like the same thing at first, let's think about how that would actually sound assuming the tempo doesn't change. First, let's listen to a measure of 9/8 playing a melody at 120 beats per minute. Next, let's compare that to the same melody using eighth note triplets in 3/4 at the exact same 120 beats per minute tempo. As you can see, that example went much faster even though the notes and the tempo are the same. If we think about the timing of each note and how it relates to the tempo, it makes perfect sense. In 9/8, where the eighth note gets the beat, we have 2 eighth notes for every 120 beats per minute quarter note pulse. But the pulse is twice that fast because we are using eighth notes as the pulse. We can hear these in groups of 3, similar to the triplet example, but that's only because the measure evenly divides that way. Moving on to the 3/4 example with triplets, we're now giving the quarter note the pulse, so the pulse is slower, but for each pulse we're playing 3 triplet notes, which will always sound faster than regular eighth notes at the same tempo. We can write the same amount of triplet notes into 3/4 as we can eighth notes in 9/8, but the way each example fits into a larger piece of music is completely different, and the speed is definitely different, assuming they are played at the same tempo. What's nice about this is since both examples are similar, if you have something in 9/8 that's too fast to easily count each beat and it's written in a way that accents every 3 beats, you can hear it in your head as groups of triplets and just keep track of every 3 beats. If you feel it in groups of 3, that's a totally valid way to play something in a difficult time signature like 9/8. There are many more examples we could cover, but using what we've gone over in this video, you should have a really good foundation for understanding any time signatures you come across. In the future, I'm planning on making an intermediate version of this video that goes into aspects of time signatures that this video left out to keep it at a reasonable time. So if you're interested in learning even more about time signatures or anything music related in general, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. If you found this video helpful, I'd love it if you left a like, and if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, feel free to drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.